go again. Speeding. You ready? Okay. On action. Full sprints, thank you. Background.
I was the kind of person when you said anything about MMA, it was like, oh, you're a depraved individual, and that arrogant attitude that I had is 180 degrees switch now from where I stand before you, because it's now those are the kind of people that I get super frustrated with, because they have no understanding of what the technical skill is that's being presented in that cage, any of the training. They're just completely ignorant of what the sport is and what it's continuing to be as it evolves.
I had been training in jiu-jitsu with Rickson Gracie since '91, and then I've been boxing my whole life, and I wrestled my whole life. So I was very much into martial arts and striking arts, but never as an MMA fighter. So Warrior kind of turned me on to that.
Absolutely no knowledge. I mean, I was aware of it. I knew it as, that crazy cage fighting. I think I remember there was an episode of Friends once where like there was a boyfriend who was, So.
I wasn't a fan of mixed martial arts. I'd done what I think a lot of guys had heard of the legend of, like, say, Royce Gracie, and sort of just had general sense of that. So I'd go back and watch some YouTube videos of Royce Gracie. This is years ago, but it wasn't like an avid fan of the sport. Certainly wasn't up on the various personalities involved.
But yeah, it did come natural. I think there's a lot of similarities between ALICIA and my character and myself. What's different between getting in a ring and fighting for movies and stuff? I've been boxing, and then I started doing Muay Thai. So I have a certain technique. You have to cover your face, you have to turn your punches, you have to do certain things. Well, when you transfer it to movies, you can't block the camera from seeing you, and certain angles, things look better. Instead of me throwing a short hook, I have to kind of really, exaggerate it, which feels completely awful and just wrong. But it works for the scene. It doesn't even look like that. It looks like I'm doing, a short hook.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I've gotten to know a lot of these guys, and you kind of become friends with them. So when you go to a fight, or you spend the night with them after the weigh-in, when they're finally getting that meal, and you become a lot more personally invested. But you just understand why fights go the way they do a lot more than I probably did before.
I do have a greater appreciation, not necessarily for the physicality of MMA, but for the mental aspect, really knowing what these guys, because now I know what these guys go through.
I grew up in Dublin. I've been knocked on my ass more than a handful of times, that's for sure. You get in scraps, all the kids grow up, they've all got their big brothers, and all their big brothers are kicking your ass, and it's part of it.
I have quietly become much more admiring of the sport and the people who do it. I'm amazed and astounded at the amounts of discipline that are involved.
I've been all over the country on my own dime to watch fights, and I have become that super fan that I thought was a complete moron before. I feel like I've learned quite a lot in the past few years.
I think it is a privilege too, and I think that it's one of the things that has resonated with people is it's raw, it's real, and you can. Everybody sees a little bit of themselves.
It made me start fighting again because I had to get the actors ready, and getting the actors ready got me to get ready, and that sparked the ability. Like when I can go in the room and mess up anyone, I'm like, why am I not doing this? It makes you have to do it. These actors, these are real moves. They really are putting themselves through the paces.